You say negative.
Negative 5. 4 hours earlier, the temperature had 41. What was the temperature at 75?
What was the temperature at 7 p.m.? And who has an answer for me? Huh? No one has an answer yet? So who? So does this look like a thermometer?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
All right. Sorry, I'm just trying to. Okay, you guys don't experience this very often here in Mississippi, but in places like Alaska, the temperature drops below 0. Have we heard that before on shows? Okay, temperature is it's a negative 52 it's a negative 10 with a negative 52 degree chill factor. I mean, it feels like it's negative 52 degrees outside. So in Alaska, it gets cold. So we sit here at where's my red mark? So we sit here at negative 5 degrees at 11 p.m. 11 p.m. Is that the day or the night?
Night.
Night. Okay. So there's my thermometer, and we're sitting at 5 degrees, negative 5 degrees, 11 p.m. So negative 5 degrees, we have to understand that that's 5 degrees below 0, right? 4 hours earlier, the temperature was 40 degrees warmer. So if I'm going 40 degrees warmer, where do I go in relationship to 0? Huh? Okay, so you guys know, you guys have probably felt 40 degrees, right? Before we had 40 degree weather here this winter, barely, right? But you guys probably have never felt negative 5 degree weather, right? So negative 5 sounds cold, right? So if it was warmer on a thermometer, which direction do I go? Up. So I need to go up 40, or I need to go up 40 degrees. So here's 5 degrees, right? There's 5. There's 10. There's 15. There's 20. 25. 30. 35. 40 degrees. And what temperature is it now? 35 degrees. Can you guys draw, can you guys write that down as an equation? Not an equation, but as a statement, temperature-wise? Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So, we start out at negative 5. Now I'm writing it as like, instead of using the thermometer, I'm going to write it down like you would see on a piece of paper. Negative 5 degrees. And then if I go up on my number line, this one's going up, what do I have to do? If something's warmer, are we what? Adding or subtracting? Adding. So negative 5 plus 40 degrees equals
35.
35. Okay? 35 degrees. And that's the temperature. 35 degrees. Now, I want to write it on a number line. Then we start at 0. And I'll just do I'm gonna still do the same thing, right? There's still hash marks in here. We got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. That's 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 35, 40. Okay? So if I start on my number line at -5, and I'm not using degrees anymore, I'm not inside a thermometer, I'm on a number line, I start at -5, and if I add something on a number line, which direction do I go?
Right.
The number line
Oh.
to the right. Okay? So, got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 degrees. And where am I?
35.
35. So -5 plus 40 equals 35. Okay? Now, really quick, I want you to do the word of the week that we started with yesterday, and then we will add into this discussion about that negative number and what we do on a number line and things like that. Okay, so who has, since we don't have the internet up, I think it's still up, but I didn't get anything sent to that computer. What was our word of the week yesterday? Theoretical probability. Okay, and so who can read that for me? Rodney.
The likelihood of an event happening based on all the possible outcomes, the ratio for the probability of an event P occurring is P event equals number of favorable outcomes divided by number of possible outcomes.
Okay, so today's the second day. We need to kind of put that into our own words. Okay. So, what do we have? Raise your hand, what do we have? You haven't finished. Tell me what you're about to write. The likelihood of an event happening. Anybody else? Go ahead.
It's something that you
Okay. Rodney?
The first probability of determining the likelihood of an event happening based on the possible outcomes.
Okay. I'm just going to describe, I'm going to explain it just a little bit further, see if I might be able to do a little better than I did last class. However, when we roll a die, we roll it 2 or 3 or 4 times, right? We can, let's just say we roll it 6 times. The probability that we roll a 1 on that 6-sided dice is what? Huh?
I like what?
No, what the probability? I'm not asking, what's my ratio? Huh?
1 out of 6.
1 out of 6 times, right? So, in theoretically, I shouldn't even have to roll that die to test that. Because that is what we see. We know there's 6 sides on that die. We know there's only one number 1 on that die. And if I roll it, I have no control. It's a square cube. It's going to land on what it lands on. So it can land on the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, or the 6. That's just what can happen. That's a total possible outcome. So that's theoretical probability. Without me having to do an experiment, I know already that my probability is 1 to 6. Just like my coin. I don't have to flip a coin to know that it can either land on heads or tails. Right? That's why we do it in front of football games. Because it's 50-50. So we know that. Theoretically, every time we flip it, it's heads or tails. Alright? Any questions on that? Alright, so on to continue on with our bell word. Who has heard the word integer before in math? So everybody's heard it. I heard it last year. You might have heard it at the beginning of this year. What is an integer? Casey, do you know what an integer is? Richard, do you know what an integer is? Okay. By using my example on my thermometer, what do you think an integer is?
It's a symbol.
It's a symbol?
I'm trying.
We use a couple symbols to describe integers.
Is it like the negative numbers?
It's the negative numbers. That's part of it. Good. Okay, let me help you out. So integers are all of our whole numbers. And if I give you a whole dollar, that's one, right? If I give you a whole $20, that's $20, right? I'm not giving you $19.50, which is $19 and half a dollar, right? So 19 and a half is not an integer. 20, 19 is an integer, all the whole numbers, the whole dollar numbers. And they're opposites. So what is the opposite of 10? Negative 10. What's the opposite of 5? Negative 5. What's the opposite of walking forwards? Walking backwards. What's the opposite of jumping up? Jumping down. Huh? How do I jump down?
Jump off.
If I stand on this table, this desk, and I jump up, right? If I jump up 5 feet, what's the opposite of jumping from this table 5 feet? Up 5 feet. Down 5 feet, right? So we use integers to describe temperature. We use integers to describe something that you guys cherish. What do you guys think is important in your lives? What do we use integers for? Huh? Money. Right? Money. You only have so much in your pocket, right? If you spend more than what's in your pocket, if you go to the store and you're with your mom or your dad and you see a pair of shoes on the shelf that is $150 and you only have $150 or $140 in your pocket, and you ask your parents for $10, in all reality, your pocket's minus $10. Because you just borrowed money, right? From your parents. You owe them $10. You're in the hole, $10. So temperature, money. What do we watch on Saturdays and Sundays in the wintertime? Football. Okay. Our running backs and our quarterbacks, are we always gaining positive yards?
Sometimes
You've heard that term, gaining positive yards, right? That was a positive play. What happens when the quarterback gets sacked?
They take away ours.
They take away those yards, right? So I don't know, let's say, I didn't play fantasy football this year, so I'm not quite caught up on who the best running back was, but let's just say Marshawn Lynch. You've all heard of him, right? So Marshawn Lynch was playing for Seattle, and he runs for 9 yards. So it's, it went from 1st and 10 to now it's 2nd and 1. That 9 yards. But Russell Wilson, the next play, calls a quarterback option. Right, he's down there, quarterback option, he peels over to the right, and you've got a tight end coming in from that side. Both the defensive backs are coming in across the defensive line, and he spins and goes this way, and there's the other tight end coming. And then he scrambles back backwards, and they sack him, and he just lost 15 yards. So we went from gaining 9 yards to losing 15. What down is now 3rd down and what?
3rd down and 13.
So we went from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 1 in the yards. This is our down. We went from first at 10, the second at 1. Then he lost 15 yards on the third down. He lost 15 yards. So now it's 4th and what?
14.
4th and 14? So I think that's right. It's 4th and 14. So you guys do know how to use integers. You do not add and subtract negative numbers. The question is, are you going to be able to do it in a math problem that's spelled out in something other than what you can comprehend right now? Like, what is a negative 25 minus a negative 5? So it would actually equal negative 20. Okay, so we're going to learn how to do that today. Now, here's the deal. I have a game that we're going to play. It's a card game that we will play for a little bit, 15 minutes or so. As long as we are under control, we're not yelling, we're not at the 4th of July picnic playing cards in the backyard, thinking that we just won the world championship at Go Fish, yelling and screaming as I slam the card down on the table. Okay? There's a purpose to this card game. We're going to break up into groups, but first I'm going to explain the rules. Okay, so in a deck of cards, you have 2 colors. What are they? Red and black. Okay? In the financial world, if you are in the black, you're making money. If you're in the red, you're losing money. Okay, so black numbers are positive, red numbers are negative. And you're going to play like war style. You know how to play war? We have the cards face down in your hand, and someone flips a card over, and you flip it over, and whichever one's bigger, that's the winner. Okay. Although you're not going to take the cards out of the pile. Okay? So the first person, after the cards are dealt, is going to flip the cards over. Flip one card over. And he's going to have, say, a 7. The next person in the circle is going to flip a card over, and he's going to add whatever number is there. Okay? If it's red, you're going to have to add a negative number. You're going to subtract from the yardage. Okay? Think of it that way. Okay? I just gained 9 yards. Now I just lost 13 yards. How many yards? Where am I at yardage-wise? Okay? So, I'm going to give you some examples beyond that. Are we ready? Okay? So, a 9 minus 10. What's my negative 1, right? So, what if I have a negative 12 minus 5? Negative 17, right? So on my number line, if let's see, that was 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'm sorry, I'd have to make a huge number line if I went this far. 5, 0, positive 1, positive 5, 10, 15, 20, and so forth and so on. Alright, so negative 12, and on a number line, we already discussed that if I go, if I'm subtracting something, or I'm adding something, I go to the right. If I subtract something, which direction do I go on a number line? Left. So I'm at a negative 12. I'm going to go left 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to give me our negative 17 you told me. Alright? Now, what if I have a 10 plus a negative 3? So plus, right? What are we supposed to do on the number line if we plus it? Okay, however, when we're adding a negative number, we're actually subtracting it, so it becomes 10 to the negative 3. Okay? Remember that rule. When I'm adding integers and I'm adding a negative number, I'm going to subtract it and keep the sign of the larger number. Okay? So 10 minus 3 equals 7. All right? Last class discussed something of keep, change, opposite. You know that? So I keep, I change, I change, and it's opposite. Right? If I have let's say a 9 minus a negative 5, here's where a rule is. Okay? What do we think a 9 minus negative 5 is? 14?
14.
You say negative 14? He's correct. It's 14. Because we have a negative and a negative here, we're going to change that to a positive. So if you see it on your sheet like this, 9 minus negative 5, which you will, you can go ahead and do the keep, change, opposite if you choose to do that. If that's what you understand in your head, that's fine. However, I can just take this parentheses, kind of straighten it out a little bit, and then connect my negative signs. Because a negative and negative equal a positive. So it's 9 plus 5 equals 14. All right? And so I want to explain to you this way too, just so you kind of understand. If you owe me, or if I say, if I take away 5 from 5, what do I have? 0, right? Anything I take away from itself, I get to 0. So, with the negative numbers, if I were to take away from negative 3, if I took negative 3 away from negative 3, remembering that anything I take away from itself equals 0, negative 3 take away negative 3, what do I have? 0. Negative 3 take away negative 3. Okay? Negative 3 take away negative 3. Negative and negative equals positive, and that equals negative 3 plus 3 equals, maybe we can see it a little different. If I go 3, property of associate property, 3 minus 3 equals, that's pretty simple there, right? All I did was switch it. I'm allowed to do that. Okay? So, you owe me $5. You're down negative $5. And I'm helping you out. I'm going to take away that negative $5 that you owe me. How much do you owe me now? 0. Okay? If you owe me $25, you're in the hole to be 25, negative 25 in your pocket, minus 25. If I say, all right, I'm going to take away 10 of those dollars you owe me, how much you going to owe me? 25 minus a negative 10. So I'm taking away 10 of that minus number you owe me. 15, negative 15 is the wrong. Okay? Can we understand the rules? Okay? Subtraction. If you're subtracting negative numbers, you keep the sign of the larger number. Subtract, keep the sign of the larger number. Addition, right? 10 plus 10 is 20. We know that. That's easy. Okay? So, let's see. Yes. Can you do what? You work with them? We're going to be working more in 2. Okay? Let's see. I think we're not moving too far. So I think you 4 could work together. Can you? Oh no, no, you don't work with. Okay, you 4. I'll let you 3 work together. Okay. You 3 work together. Say what? Can you work with those 3? Okay, so you work with these 3 girls here. So go ahead and move back there. Okay. You come sit right here. Okay. You four work together. Okay. So you're gonna turn right now. You're gonna turn your tables into like to where it's like turn your desk into like a table. Okay. You guys are gonna turn your desks into a table. Okay.
How much we did?
Okay. So
10 plus 1.
it's so you had 11. Okay, hold on. So you had 11 plus a negative 9. Okay? So positive and negative equal a negative. So it's 11 minus 9 equals 2. Okay, flip your next card over.
Supposed to do this. After we did get this number, how are we supposed to? So we got.
So keep that number, and then put the next one down. And so you're gonna one person, whoever's next. So you're gonna add 8 to this number.
Oh, okay. I get it.
2 plus negative 5. So it becomes so you have a positive and a negative.
Yeah, because 9 is bigger than 8, so you gotta subtract it because negative plus.